Chance, but by divine appointment. And I say to our viewing audience, welcome. You tuned in at this moment to open the space, to walk through, and to acknowledge there is a power for good in the universe, greater than we are, and we can use it. Our theme for the month is What's Right with the World? Now, Dr. Marcus Bach, who was my teacher in the School of Ministry at the Ernest Holmes College many, many moons ago, wrote a book called What's Right with the World. And he was very, very amazing. He was an amazing teacher, and he wrote a book, Had You Been Born in Another Faith, where he went and lived with everyone in the world from all faiths. So this is What's Right with the World. I'm sure it's out of print, but you can get it on Amazon. And when he wrote the book, and someone said, oh, you just published your book, and what's the name of it? He said, What's Right with the World? And they said, well, it must be a really small book. Ain't much right with the world. He said, no, actually, it's a good-sized book. Because if we have eyes to see, blessed are they who have eyes to see, who have ears to hear. And when we open our consciousness for what's right in the world, and we know that there's so much going on in the world, right? So much going on in the world. Blessed are they who have ears to hear and eyes to see through the appearances, the conditions, and the effects to the truth of being, to the truth that arises through it all, century after century. There is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it. We're looking at the mystery of life. We hear that what is yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift. That's why it's called the precious present. And that as we live in this moment, recognizing life is not a problem to be solved, it is a mystery to be lived. Because we don't know. We get up in the morning and we begin our day. And as our life unfolds, an old view vanishes, a new view appears. We don't know exactly what's going to be around the bend in that moment. But what we do know is that we have the faith as a grain of mustard seed and the energy of the universe that goes before us and prepares the way. Now, in the Kabbalah, there was a mystic named Abulafia, and he used to study the Hebrew letters, and they were filled with light. And this is in the year 1000. So his candle went out, and he walked across the room to get another candle, and the light in the room followed him. And he would go to the right, to the left, he would go forward. The light in the room followed him, though the candlelight had gone out. That there was an energy in that room. There was a mystic presence in that room that he would never, ever be able to explain rationally or with the linear mind. But there is a mind, a higher mind within each of us that have had those mystic moments. Those moments where the light was there, it followed us. And in those moments of upset, those moments of sorrow, deep sorrow, wrenching sorrow, those moments when we didn't know where to turn, there is a light within us. And the light at the end of the tunnel is always within us. And I love that story so much because the energy of light is ever present. The energy of love is ever present. God is love, and they that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in them. An ancient mystic saying. And when we dwell in that secret place of the Most High, and we open ourselves up to this energy, everything unfolds. And if it looks like it hasn't, it's not unfolding for us, I love, on the best miracle, the best exotic miracle hotel, I call it, Sunny G, where he says, it's all going to turn out in the end, and if it doesn't, it's not the end. Right? Exactly. So we just have to have that faith and that knowingness that it's not the end yet, that there's things to learn, and we're unfolding, and we're expanding, and we're growing. And I say, when I really want something, I say, well, if not this God, then something better. and open the space for the possibility of the universe to flow through and to give something better. And in that recognition, it opens. It looks like magic, but it is the knowingness, the faith as a grain of mustard seed, the recognition of the power and the presence and the universe that is within us. And one of the stories in Dr. Bach, and I want you to know that his nephew is Richard Bach, of Jonathan Livingston Seagull fame, where they even made a movie of it. And he like written 30 wonderful books, and his nephew writes his first book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It goes over the charts. It's on the New York Times bestseller list. Everyone turned him down to publish it. They said it's too small of a book, and yet it hit over the charts because each of us is that Jonathan Livingston Seagull, wanting to find our place in the universe and going through our own trials, tribulations, enlightenments, and knowingness. It's about life. I think that's why it just went absolutely over, over the edge with success. But one of his chapters is his bridal path. And we used to visit his home in Palos Verdes. And there was a bridal path behind his home. And he said, I was on my bridal path, as I am, every morning at 6:30 a.m. And he said this every morning. He said about 6:35, this strapping young man, and he's got a, great physique, and he's jogs through the bridal path, and every morning he just sort of says hello, and he's got this great, wonderful hair that, flows. He's just this amazing specimen of a human being. And he said, as I kept on my walk and we acknowledged each other, pretty soon there was another young man that came through that was physically challenged and somewhat spastic. And he was carrying a bag, and he was kind of going along the very best he could, and he thought, what a contrast from seeing this golden Adonis that just flowed by to this little person that his gait was very altered, and he had a limp, and he was holding on to his bag. And he looked up to him and he said, good morning. And he said, good morning. And he could see that within the eyes of this soul that there was perfection. No matter what the body looked like, how spastic, how physically challenged, whatever the gait was, how infirm he seemed, that there was a power within him that flowed through his eyes, that he could say, good morning, and mean it and feel it. And he thought, this is what's right with the world. That no matter what is going on, from the golden Adonis in the sky to this little person that's physically challenged, there is an energy in the eyes. There is a recognition, of oneness, that I'm on my path. And he said, and as the little guy, was on the path, the bridal path, that he heard like a stifled stumble. And he looked over and he'd fallen. Before I could get there, he got himself up, he brushed himself off, he grabbed hold of his suitcase stronger than ever, and I'm all right. And he said, yes, you are. You're all right. And then he could see him get off the path, and his friend picked him up on the corner, and off he went. And I'm left, he said, with the eucalyptus, my little Schnauzer dog, in which the little man said, oh, what a beautifully groomed little Schnauzer. And he said, yes, he is. I just had him groomed, remarkably so. The Schnauzer was looking up. I was looking up. I was on the path, and yet it became my path of life. That wherever we are, in our physical moments, that this is the good and right place that we're supposed to be, no matter what it looks like. This is where we are supposed to be. And I can remember that, my surgery was 5.5 hours, and that I woke up, I had friends there, my beloved daughter, my angel daughter, and I left the house at 3:45 a.m. so we could be there at 5 a.m. to check in. Beloved Dr. Basha Dernis was there at 5 a.m. and beloved Reverend Dr. Samantha Lewis was there at 5:15 a.m. And when we went into the room, it became holy energetically. And my two doctors came in. Dr. Siddiqui is a wonderful man, and he's the top surgeon in the nation for the surgery that I needed. And his assistant, who looks like he's 16. And so when his assistant first walked in, I said, do you have your mother's permission slip to be here? And I said, I bet you get that all the time. He goes, yeah, but not quite so funny. And I said, we would like you to join us in our circle of prayer. So we all joined hands, and we spoke our word that every doctor, nurse, and attendant was divinely guided in this perfect circle of life and love. And that when we said, and so it is, amen, everyone in our circle, including the doctor, said, amen. And what I knew was that as these things come up and they're surprising and we think, oh, you know, how could this be happening? All of the things that we think energetically, that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are. And we are not only using it, but it's using us. We are co-creators with this energy. And the Kabbalists is so interesting because they feel that that on another level, that, you know, we create our own God as co-creators. So when Abulafia moved, wherever he moved in the room and the light followed him energetically, that is the light, the eternal light in the universe that never goes out. It is within, it is everywhere present. And in that perfect circle of prayer, as we spoke our word into the law of mind, knowing that our word was law unto the thing in which it was sent, and that it returns in full-blown expression of that which we do send out. And, you know, right after surgery, it was interesting. The next day, one of the young doctors came in and he went like this in my stomach, and I screamed because I had, you know, 5 incisions in my stomach. And he goes, how is that? And I screamed. I said, there's your answer. And, right? And got it? And he said, so are you looking forward to going home? He said, well, what will you be doing? And I said, well, not exactly tennis. I will be honoring my body temple. I will be healing. I will be resting. I will be rejuvenating. I will be renewing and honoring this body temple. I'm not a human doing. I'm a human being. How about you? And my daughter's over on site saying, Mother, be nice. And thought I was being really nice under the circumstances, right? So energetically, it's not always about the doing. It's about the letting go and letting God do what God does best by means of us. I feel all the prayers of all of you, all my Facebook community, everyone that's part of my life. I felt the living, palpable prayer. I became the prayer that was praying itself. And yes, the next day when they said, you know, she came in at 5 a.m. and said, oh, we're going to go for a walk now. I said, you're going for a walk. I'm not. I don't go for a walk at 5 a.m. when I haven't had major surgery. Excuse me. So I said, I like to lay in bed and meditate. And she goes, well, I'm off at 7. And I said, well, have a good time. And so they kept coming in saying, you know, it's time for your walk. And I said, I'm not ready. I'm just not ready. So when we're not ready to be able to speak our word in an affirmative way and know what we are capable of doing. When I was ready, you know, in the afternoon, you know, I was very, very shaky. And I thought, you know, this is really new for me. I am a very energetic person. And what happens is that as we unfold in the truth of our being, at first steps are shaky. At first things are new. And as we begin to unfold and trust the universe and the process, that there is that power that is within us, then it gets greater and greater and greater. So by the 3rd walk that day, I had my male nurse, Rudy, waving, and each time, you know, he would wave and he'd do cheerleads for me and all of this. I think we're all there for each other. We're all the cheerleaders of life saying, you can do it, I'm there for you, here's a hand up. Not a hand out, a hand up. Because if we give hands out, you give a man bread, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to plant, you feed him for a lifetime. So when we are in this state of wonder, and when we open the space to allow God to do what God does best, energetically, the miracles show up. When I was in Tuscany, I was lecturing in Tuscany to the Women's Foundation. There was a monastery nearby. And it was Sister Chiara. And she had like this amazing, it was like a mission. And she called it her hermitage, where people of the West would go and they would unfold and they would grow and they would be there. And she said they were full of stress and they were full of all kinds of things that occurred for them. And by the time they'd left, they were whole within themselves, that they came in as stressed and not feeling good. But when they left, there was a power within them that they have released what no longer worked in their life, and they could stand up and leave. Father Benucci from Siena said that the man who has never learned and forgotten how to be amazed is dying, because there is wonder everywhere. And when we are amazed by the little things of life, when we acknowledge every single day is a gift from God, whatever we choose to call our God, whatever it is, that light in the room follows us. It is there within us. It goes before us. It prepares the way. We open ourselves to it. And in this recognition that we're casting off what no longer serves us, and we are arising triumphant and victorious over the things of this world. Be not conformed to the things of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That what's right with the world, we can turn to the right, to the left. We know what's right with the world. We know where our consciousness is going. And when we are feeling joy, the most infallible sign of the presence of God, that is truly the expression of life, of consciousness, of whatever we choose to call it. And if we're not feeling joy, it's our ego. So we have to just let that go. It no longer serves. And realize that when we are in those moments that we need support, there is a support system there. There is a cheering section. There is an opportunity for us to know the truth in that moment. And when we're not knowing the truth, someone's going to know the truth for us and acknowledge us. And when we're feeling, when is this ever going to end? Oh my gosh, how long do I have to go through this? Well, you know what? Things always work out in the end, and if they don't, it's not the end. Because there's more to learn, more to unfold, more to grow, more to open to. So this morning, as we look at what's right with the world, and we look around, we live in a beautiful place. We look into the mountains from whence cometh our strength, and our strength comes from within. So this morning, as we gather, as the 2 or 3 gathered, we feel supported in knowing that in community, and I love community. I love being in community and feeling the energy of transformation in the midst of us. That's why we are here. And when we heal our own issues, it's time to serve. It's time to serve one another. So this morning, as I greet you, as I acknowledge why we are here to have a spiritual experience. We are here to go higher and higher and higher in our consciousness. It's about an evolution, is it not? Yes. You feel that? It's about an evolution. So as we open this morning, and to know that we are going higher yet, that recognition of us is lifting us over what we need to do, where we need to do it, and how. The answers are always there. I'm living in the mystery. Life is not a problem to be solved. It's a mystery to be lived. What's right with the world? You are. Do you believe that? Yes. Yes. Who? You are. What's right with the world? You are. And you make the difference. And I'm so blessed to be here today. I love you. God bless you. And we are going higher yet. And so it is.